Shalom and welcome. And onward with the story of Abraham. Just to catch up, Abraham for 75 years was living in the land of Ur of Kasdim in quite a sensible and probably quite a profitable and satisfactory way. We don't hear anything about him until we meet him when he's 75. But we do know that through that story in the Midrash of the shop that they had with his father Terach selling idols, and the visit by the woman carrying a basket of fine flour, that Abraham suddenly begins to realize, quite emotionally actually, that this worshipping of idols is really not the way to go. And he gets disgusted that this woman had been deceived into bringing this food for the idols when actually they were just blocks of wood or stone, couldn't do anything for you. And we know that he gets so angry that he smashes the whole lot. And his father Terach is obviously not pleased at this, and he shops him to the king, to the main judge of the land, Nimrod, known as a mighty hunter and a fierce man. And Nimrod condemns Abraham to the fiery furnace, which somehow Abraham survives. But it doesn't get a whole lot better after that, because Abraham's brother Haran, who sides with Nimrod on the polytheistic argument and says this worshipping of one God, the Creator, is a load of nonsense, and so God takes Haran out. And Terach and Haran's son Lot, Abraham's wife Sarai, who, by the way, is barren, so they don't have any children, they set out having probably nothing much left for them in Ur, and at a town also called Haran. Terach dies, which leaves Abraham, Sarai, his nephew Lot, and it tells us a few people with him who were probably converts, as Abraham was explaining the benefits and the must actually of worshipping the one God, the one Creator. And they all set out for the land of Canaan, and we don't hear an awful lot of what happens on the way, but it seems to be quite without incident. Abraham builds an altar, worships God, calls the place Bethel, the house of God, and then they walk straight into a famine. Now, I'm not expecting our journeys to be like that, although if we're already on it, we may have found that we'd reached that place of satisfaction, of comfort. I doubt whether we've had shops selling idols, but you know what I mean, that there'll be something like that maybe. Maybe things don't go quite as well. You feel that stirring within inside you that life is okay, but it's a little bit meaningless and worthless, and hopefully we don't end up in a fiery furnace. But we may reach that position in our lives when we think we need to go somewhere. Now, that Lech Lecha that Hashem spoke to Abraham was a pretty motivating speech. He says, well, look, Lech Lecha, go to yourself or go for your own benefit. And those benefits would be that I will make your name great, I will make you the father of a great nation, those who bless you I will bless, those who curse you I will curse. And at the end of that sandwich, Abraham's responsibility was to be a blessing to the nations. Now that seems a pretty good deal when actually what you've got at home is worthless anymore. There actually is no place for you. And so this journey, this adventure, sets out, probably they were all in quite good spirits because it was unknown, but at least they were heading in the direction that Hashem had told them. And you would think that it would go smoothly from then on, but they walk straight into this famine. And from there they head off to Egypt, and next time we'll find out that that didn't go quite so well either. So how does this mirror our journey? Or should it? Does it? I can see some likenesses in my journey, that you reach that place of self-satisfaction, of maybe economic, not wealth, but you're comfortable. And you get into that lazy mode and you start to chill out and relax, but you haven't fulfilled the purpose that God gave you yet. And so it's that feeling, that turbulent feeling inside of that this is not where I'm supposed to be. May not be able to explain it, but it's a restlessness. It's that feeling that you need to set out. to do the Lech Lecha. Now, I don't think God is going to maybe speak to us like Abraham these days, because we know from the story of Abraham and the story of our other patriarchs, our tradition and our history, and there's enough that we can learn from there to guide us on our way. But it will be for our benefit. We know that. We may not even see the end of it or part of the journey that we're heading out on, but in faith we believe that if we set out on this journey, it's for our benefit. And just when we get comfortable with that idea, make ourselves an altar and worship God, we run into our own personal famine, and I've been there. When I thought life was going reasonably well, something outside of my control that I couldn't control meant that me and the rest of the family were in a total famine. We didn't go to Egypt, but it kind of worked out okay in the end. So what is it about this? And I found a little piece that was written by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heskel of blessed memory that maybe puts it into context. And this is not just a personal thing, but I think it'll apply to many people. And this is what he said. Self-satisfaction, this is what we were talking about, isn't it? You know, that feeling that we've made it, we've reached as far as we need to go. Self-satisfaction is the opiate of fools. Self-fulfillment is a myth, which the noble mind must find degrading. All that is creative in man stems from a seed of endless discontent. New insight begins when satisfaction comes to an end, when all that has been said, seen, or done looks like a distortion. On face value, it seems to be very friendly, does it? You know, that we must continue to be discontented. But I think he's right. I think that feeling of our own lives, that we haven't reached as far as we can go, as our potential would lead us, should lead to that feeling of discontent. And that is the beginning of our creativity in finding the path that Hashem wants us to travel. Now, I know it's a very important thing, and I know lots of people would love to find that, but battle to find it. And it's a question to keep on trying. You know, Abraham was 75 before circumstances pushed him in that direction. So it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. And I don't think we can find it on our own. We might need Hashem's help. But let me read you one more piece to finish, a little story that will help us maybe understand a little of how we should recognize when we're on the right path. That path, Lech Lecha, for our own benefit, that Hashem wants us to travel. So Rabbi Be'er of Radashitz once said to his teacher, the Rabbi of Lublin, "Show me one general way to the service of God." We love to have that, just one general way, something that fits all. The Tzaddik replied, that's the righteous one, that's the Rabbi of Lublin, "It is impossible to tell people what way they should take. For one way to serve God is through the teachings, another through prayer, another through fasting, and still another through eating." I like that one. "Everyone should carefully observe what way their heart draws them to, and then choose their way with all their strength. God does not say, 'This way leads to me and that does not,' but God says, 'Whatever you do may be a way to me, provided you do it in such a manner that it leads you to me.'" And I found that very helpful. It's helpful in all situations. But you know, we're not out there on our own, but our hearts, our emotions, our intellect will join together. And we'll get that feeling that we will understand. We might not be able to explain it, we probably won't see it, but deep inside us, in our souls, we will know that this is the way that God has chosen for us to go. I think if you're feeling satisfied, if you're feeling and hopefully discontent with your life, that you know you could do more, then I pray that you would find that feeling in your heart that will lead you on the next phase of your journey, that you too can be a blessing to all the nations. Until next time, shalom and goodbye.